This isn't the first time the UK has faced an economic crisis. They were going down a steep hill in 1992. Nobody knew what they would do if the economy crashed and how they would come out. Sorry, almost nobody, because there was still a man who was calm as a cucumber amid all of this chaos. Who was this man, and how was he so calm about the whole mess? Well, we are exactly going to discuss that, so relax and keep watching. The day was September 15th, 1992, and George Soros, like always, was in his office taking a peep at the city outside of his window. He swiftly looked at one of his associates and said something that marked the beginning of a frightening episode in the book of British economic history. He said, "It's time to go nuclear." How is he gonna do that? Did he have the nuclear codes on him? Don't worry, relax guys, it's nothing like that. George took a risk, one that could have ended his whole fortune. Yes, George Soros put all of his money down to the last penny against the sterling currency of the pound. And we can bet that Soros couldn't have guessed it. In just a day, the pound's value decided to take a trip downtown. It all went down and George had over $1 billion. Yeah, that amount sounds a little too unrealistic, especially for a world in the 90s, but you've gotta believe us on this one. After that, it was only natural that the Bank of England broke down to pieces, or maybe not, but it cracked the whole foundation of the bank. But why was that? How does one man's money bring such wrath to an entire bank, which is also a national bank? Remember how we talked about the crisis? Well, this happened and there wasn't enough money in the bank. If the currency's value decreased, someone got a $1.5 billion coin worth. This is what we call an imbalanced economy. At this point, the bank owed George $1 billion in pounds, and it's possible that they didn't even have more than 10 million at that time. Now, let's move to the present and find out what he's up to right now. George is a smart man, and that's a very obvious thing that we're sure you've already understood by now. If we look up his net worth right now, we'll find that it's somewhere between $8 to $9 billion to his name. But that's not all, folks. Did you really think a man who would cash out $1 billion during a recessive period in the 90s would only be worth less than $10 billion? This man has started a foundation named Open Society Foundation, and $17 billion are floating around this foundation, which is all under Soros. This must be confusing for those of you who aren't much up to date with the financial games, so here's the deal. Please pay close attention because we'll explain what Soros did here and how it's a very smart move. Soros knew that if he were to control all of his money directly, there would be a lot of backlash against him. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's no secret that billionaires are frowned upon by this whole world. Be it Elon Musk or Bill Gates, people have created this mindset that billionaires are enjoying a little too much and should be among the equals rather than go and sit on a throne of cash. But is that the right thing to be worried about? Well, of course not. There'll always be someone who has a lot of money. However, let's come back to what we're talking about. So, obviously, Soros knew that he had to do something about his worth. That's why he created the foundation, which is its financial entity, and although it's controlled solely by Soros, he will never be asked to be liable for it. Isn't that a sweet deal? Also, he doesn't have to pay taxes on the money that he's stored away in his foundation. When you're rich, you unlock too many privileges, and this is one of them. Almost every billionaire has a foundation to their name, backing their whole life's work. If you had $10 million, would you get a charitable foundation or trust? Let us know down in the comments. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to press the like and subscribe button. Okay, but this is not the end of the story. Although Soros managed to save his money from the evil eye, he still couldn't find a solution to how he would dismantle the idea among the common public that he is evil. Yeah, that may have sounded quite confusing to you guys. Well, don't you worry folks, because we'll break it down for you. See, in the world of media and the internet, some claim that Soros is more than what he shows. They've prepared those articulate theories about him, which most of them would categorize as conspiracy theories. However, their ideas sometimes have enough circumstantial evidence to prove their point. According to them, Soros is not just any billionaire, rather he is a puppet master and the financial world of the UK is his puppet show. Not only that, but he is also blamed for the things like funding protests in the US as well as instigating agendas in Romania. So why is he the center of all this? Well, it's because he's a very, very intelligent businessman. and that is why it's natural for people to think that he is using at least some kind of hack to remain on top, no matter what. Okay, let's go through when he made an extraordinary profit of $1.5 billion. He collected less than $10 billion worth of pounds because he ran a very popular and profitable hedge fund. When the pound came crashing down and the UK was kicked out of the EMS, which we hope we don't have to tell you, but stands for the European Monetary System, what George did was something quite sinister if we look through the eyes of the financial institutions in the UK. He sold all of the pounds to the German currency mark, and then as soon as the deed was done, he ended with a straight-cut profit of $1.5 billion. Now, just think of it like this for a second. It's evident that Soros is a very brutal opportunist. He had the hammer all along with him, and he struck it when it would hurt the most. The story of how he made his fortune is nothing short of a villain arc, so people must be more considerate when talking about him. There are rumors that he played a very major role in the Black Lives Matter protest, as he was the one who funded the whole thing. Some of you might ask, why would a billionaire fund a demonstration? How does that make any sense? The thing is that billionaires like George Soros seek power and control more than they seek money. They already have a lot of money on them, and to make sure that their money never runs out, they'll do almost anything if it would lead them to gain some control over how this world works. For example, suppose a billionaire has invested much of their money in some oil refinery in a Gulf country. Now, if that country comes under a situation where it has to struggle politically, it would also affect that certain billionaire's investment. They would do anything necessary to protect their investment, such as creating a war zone or maybe overthrowing the government itself. So you get the gist of it. It's all connected, and the little things matter more when we start paying attention to them. Soros is already quite old, so it will be for a while, even if he controls the world somehow. We are sure that George Soros is not a man to be messed with. He is very smart, and he knows how to control the flow of not only his money, but a significant amount of the market. And maybe that's why no government has ever tried to go after him. But that'll mark a wrap for today's video. We hope you've already subscribed to us and liked the video as well. Also, remember to share this video with your friends who want to know more about the financial world. Bye for now, folks. We'll be back soon with another video, but until then, keep watching Proactive Investing.